Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Today I have a fun fold swing card for you. I've used the In the Moment stamp set and On the Horizon. On the Horizon is actually available as a bundle because there are dies to match. The On the Horizon stamp set is part of a suite called the New Horizons Suite, which is on page 42 to 43 of the January to June mini catalogue for 2022. Unfortunately, the papers are still not available, but I believe the ribbon and the pebbles are available. It's just the papers that are missing. The In the Moment stamp set is on page 57. The inks I'm using are Tuxedo Black, Memento ink, Pool Party and Crumb Cake. You'll also need blending brushes. Stamping blend combos I've chosen Bermuda Bay, Pool Party, Petal Pink for the skin tones, So Saffron for her hair and the glass of wine, and Crumb Cake for the table and the sun hat. The basic rhinestone jewels. To make the card base for the swing card, you need a piece of cardstock 5 3/4 inches by 6 3/4 inches. In metric, that's 14.5 by 17 centimeters. To create the swing card mechanism, you need to make 2 cuts on the cardstock. So one there, and you lift the blade up and then make another cut there, and you do the same for this side as well. So that's 4 cuts in all. So you put your cardstock short side at the top and you align it at 1 1/4 inches. I'll run through the metric in a minute. 1 1/4, and you cut down to 2 3/4. Okay, lift the blade up. I'll turn my trim around because you can't see. Make sure that's aligned at 1 1/4 inches, and now you've got one to cut from 4 inches down to 5 1/2 inches. Now slide the paper along and line it up at 1 1/4 inches to the left of the cutting groove, and you repeat the cut. 1 1/4 inches down to 2 3/4 inches. And cut from 4 inches down to 5 1/2. So in metric, you have the short side at the top, and you cut from 3 centimeters down to 7 centimeters. Lift the blade up and cut from 10 centimeters down to 14 centimeters, and you repeat on this side. Turn your cardstock so that the long side is at the top, and you want to cut between these 2 cut lines on the left and on the right. So you line it up. The magic number is 1 1/4 inches. So you line it up at 1 1/4 inches, the right edge to the right of the groove, and you cut from 1 1/4 inches down to 4 1/2 inches. Slide it along, line it at 1 1/4 inches to the left of the cutting groove, and then cut from 1 1/4 inches down to 4 1/2 inches. In metric, that will be 3 centimeters down to 11.5 centimeters to the right of the cutting groove, and to the left of the cutting groove you do the same, 3 centimeters down to 11.5 centimeters. You might have to free this because I didn't want to overshoot on the trimmer, so it's better to cut it short than to overcut it. Then bring in your scoreboard, and you want to score above these two cut lines here and below these two cut lines here at 2 3/4 inches and at 4 inches, 2 3/4 inches and 4 inches. So in metric you will be scoring at 7 centimeters and 16 centimeters above the cut lines here and below the cut lines there. On the first score line you wanted a mountain fold, and on the second score line you want a valley fold. To make the detail here, you need 4 pieces of Bermuda Bay cardstock, and you want to cut a C shape. Okay, so that it goes like this, and then you've got one at the back as well. So I'll show you how to cut this. For the decorative pieces here, which has been embossed, you need 4 pieces of cardstock cut at 2.5 inches by 5.5 inches. In metric, that's 6.5 by 14 cm, and you need to cut it into a C shape. I've already done 3, so I'll show you how to do the last one. Alongside, you line it up at 1 inch and you cut from 1.5 inches up to the top. Slide the cardstock to 1 inch to the left of the cutting groove, 1.5 inches up to the top, and then you want to cut between the 2 lines, 1 inch between these 2 cut lines. And then just release it. And from this leftover piece, you need to cut 4 pieces at 1 inch squares. You need to cut 4 1-inch squares rather. So in fact, out of the leftover piece you can get 3, and you only need 1 more. These are the pieces for here. Then you need a matte layer in Bermuda Bay for the centre panel, the swing bit. This measures 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, and in metric that's 8 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. 2 basic white pieces for stamping on, and this is the second layer, and this measures 3 inches by 4 inches, and in metric that will be 7.5 by 10 centimeters. I'm going to glue these matte layers center panel on the swing card so that I don't lose the pieces. I use the Stripes and Splatters embossing folders. These come in a pack of 2, and you'll find it on page 55 of the January to June mini catalogue. First I'm going to emboss all these decorative pieces. I want the logo side face up. You need a grey platform 4 and platform 1, so I'll do that off camera, and I'll need to emboss all these pieces here. Glue them down. flip it to the other side and glue the back as well. To stamp the girl in Tuxedo Black Memento ink, over to this corner, and you can see I've stamped this on a post-it note, so I'm using a blending technique as well as a masking technique, because I don't want the girl to be all blue. So carefully put that over. I'm just going to stamp the sentiment from the Horizons stamp set, and also the birds. I think the birds are designed to stamp either way, so you can do it this way or that way. Stamp that just here. Then I'm going to take a bit of the crumb cake ink, and I'm just only going to put a bit of, then take the pool party, and I'm working off the paper then onto the paper. Carefully peel this off, and I can do some colouring. And you can save it, put it in the box to use for next time. To colour in the table and her sun hat in crumb cake. Speed this up. Next I'm going to do her hair in So Saffron Dark. Then her skirt in Bermuda Bay. Her shirt in Pool Party. And her arms in Petal Pink. The front of the card is a mountain fold, so this should be glued to this side, and it's best to do it this way so you don't make a mistake as to which side to glue it on. Now I know this is not the normal, but I'm just going to put my rhinestones on here so I don't get confused which side to open it. So the one with the 2 rhinestones is on the back, and the one with just 1 rhinestone is the front. Do the back, and I'm going to stamp this from the Horizon stamp set and use a blending brush just to add some colour to this bottom bit. Then bring back my Pool Party and add the sky. And I forgot to press record, just stamp a little flight of birds there. And next is to glue it on the back. Make sure it's the right way up. And there's your swing card complete. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks for joining me today. All the links to the supplies are below this video in the Show More section. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. If you want to read more, then do hop over to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. There will be a link to the blog post below this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.